Hello everyone and welcome back to Data Science with Yash, and we're going to continue our discussion with respect to the Python programming series. And today we are diving into one of the most fundamental concept in Python, that is functions. And by the end of this video, you'll not only understand how to create and use functions, but also how to make your code cleaner, more modular and reusable. So let's get started. So before that, first of all, let's talk about what functions are. So the functions are the block of reusable code that performs a specific task, and they help to make your code modular, more readable and easier to debug. Clear? So you can imagine them as a little workers that you can call upon to do a task for you whenever you need, right? So let's start with defining a simple function, and in Python we use the def keyword to define a function or to start a function. So here is a simple example, and here the greet is the function name, and within this parenthesis you can pass the parameters, and we'll be learning this in the next example. So here I'm trying to basically print greet hello everyone. So so to call a function you simply use its name followed by the parenthesis. So let's call the greet function that we defined. Clear? So next, let's make our function more versatile by adding some parameters into it. So here basically parameters allow you to pass the data into your function, and here is an example. So here we have added a parameter name. So now it will greet the person by name. Let's try calling this function with Yash as the argument. So this is the parameter, and we have passed the argument as Yash. So there you go, we got printed it as hello Yash. Clear? So next, before diving, let us understand why do we use the functions. So well, functions are used to organize and reuse the code efficiently, and instead of writing the same code multiple times, you can write it once in a function and call the function whenever needed. This line I'll try to explain with the example. You'll have a better understanding. And next, this makes your code more modular, readable, and easier to maintain. And then we have something written as benefits of using functions. So, firstly, anyhow, reusability. I already discussed at the point. Instead of writing the same code multiple times, what we can do is we can write it once in a function and call the function whenever we require. So, first is reusability done, and next is modularity, which means breaking down the complex problems into simpler problems or simpler parts. Next is readability, making the code easier to understand, and comes the maintainability. Updating the code in one place will reflect everywhere wherever we are using that particular function. So let's understand this through an example. Let us see an example. So which will define about the use of a reusability. So here is some code to print the squares of the numbers. I have taken a list of numbers, and for number in numbers I'm trying to take a variable square and number star number, which means I'm trying to multiply with the same number, which is nothing but the square of the number. And then let's say we have another list and some more additional what we say values that we have got, and again I'm trying to print this here. You can notice that we are repeating the same logic twice. Here once we have written, and the same logic we are trying to repeat once again here. So let's try to print this firstly. Anyways, we are going to get the output. But the thing that need to be noticed here is that we are repeating the same logic, or we are repeating the same line of code again. So let's let's refactor this into a function. So I have taken a function named print square, and for every function you'll be starting with the def keyboard only. So I have taken the function name as print square. I have given the numbers, and for number in numbers, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to multiply with the same number, that is squaring with the same number. And then here you can see I have passed a list of numbers, and I'm just calling up my function print square. So print square is the name of my function, and then I have just passed this particular list as an argument. And similarly here, more numbers, I have taken another list, and I'm trying to just give this as an argument, give this list of numbers into an argument. So you can see here this got printed. This is much better, right? We can print the squares of any list of numbers just by calling this particular function named print squares, and we are passing a list of elements, a list of elements in the form of argument. Clear? So, and next comes functions can also have the default parameters. For example, let's say I have taken this name as a parameter, but here I did not pass any argument for this name. So it will definitely throw an error. This is telling missing one required positional argument name. Since I have not given any particular argument for this name, so it is throwing an error. But what if no argument is provided? It should be able to take the default value. So I have taken the name as a parameter and have specified equals to guest, and whenever if there is no argument that is been provided, it will use the default value guest. Otherwise, it will greet with the name too. So here you can see hello guest, and but if you're passing some name, definitely it will print with the name, and by default if you're not specifying any name, and it is going to print hello guest. This example you can relate like whenever you're going to some restaurant, and let's say that particular restaurant has some application where you need to like order the items or something like that, where you need to give your details firstly. So when you have given or when you have passed your name, so it will greet you with hello Yashwanth, and if you try to skip your name, maybe hello guest. I hope this makes sense. And next comes a function with multiple parameters. Similarly, you can also define the function with multiple parameters. Simple enough, right? This is the function name, and I have given two parameters, and I'm trying to return a plus b, and I'm calling the function, and the output is 8. This function adds the two numbers and returns the result. Simple. And this example, let's make things more dynamic with a function that greets based on the time of the day. Let's say a person visited a hotel. Again, I'm taking the example of some restaurant itself. Let's say the particular person has visited between 5 to 12. We need to greet him or her with good morning. If it is between 12 to 18, maybe good afternoon, and 18 to 22 hours, maybe good evening, and so on. So I have taken two such parameters. One is name and one is hour. So I'm giving this arguments here. Yash 10, maybe he visited at 10 hours, Bhargo at 14 hours, and Chandu at 19 hours, and Harsha at 23 hours. See here, it is able to print. Clear? Written it right. So next comes variable length arguments. So Python also allows for variable length arguments, both the positional and the keyword arguments. So let's start by understanding what is positional arguments. So what this positional arguments, or which we usually call it as args, allows us to pass a variable number of positional arguments to a function. Let's say here we have taken two such parameters, name and hover. Let's say maybe, and then we have passed two arguments, Yash and Tel. So as many number of parameters, that many number of arguments that we usually have. But in this example, I'm just defining greet, and then I'm writing it as star args, and for name in args print hello and that particular name. And now I'm calling my function with one, two, three, four, five such arguments, and it is able to give us the output without throwing in any error. So these are the positional arguments. So we are calling the function with multiple arguments, and you don't need to like specify the parameters. Previously, we have done is we are specifying as many what we say parameters, that many arguments. You can see here, this, maybe here one such parameter, one such argument, and here two such parameters and two arguments. But here you can see that we are calling the function with multiple arguments. This is how this concept works. Not just args, you can write anything. For the sake of simplification, I have written, or to understand, I have written args, but you can specify anything, just like maybe NAMES, and you can change here as well, NAMES, for name in names, and then you can check here the same result. Clear? So here args will pass any number of arguments to the function. It's like a magic bag which can hold as many items as you want. Clear? So similarly, I have taken another such function name, print numbers, and have written star args for number in args, print numbers, and then I'm passing these many positional arguments, and it is able to give us the output without throwing any error. Clear? Similarly, you can also use the kwargs, which is nothing but keyword arguments, and we represent it by star star, double star. So keyword arguments allows you to pass a variable number of keyword arguments to a function. It's like ordering a, what we say, a custom sandwich where you get to choose all the ingredients. Similarly, so we have to will be there in the, it is more or less similar to that of the dictionary, like where you will be having a key and a value pair. Similarly here, so def is the keyword you start off with, and then the function name, and then you have written star star quarks. As I mentioned, it is more or less similar to that of dictionary, so you'll be having a key and a value. So for key comma value in quarks dot items, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to print a string key and value, and here print details is the name of my function, and then I'm specifying name as Yaswanth, age 24, and state Odisha. You can see here that is there in the key value pair. And next comes, you can also combine both args and kwargs in a single function itself. Let's say you have defined print details as your function name, and then you're writing star args and double star kwargs. And for val in args, print f string positional argument, and I'm trying to print firstly the args, and next comes the kwargs. For key comma value in kwargs dot items, print f string key and value, and then I have given, I'm trying to call up this function. You can see here positional argument this, and then it started with keyword arguments. And let's say I'll add some few more positional arguments. maybe this, but it will throw an error. This says positional argument follows keyword argument. So you cannot write, you basically cannot write after the keyword arguments. The positional argument should be written before the keyword arguments, only then it works. Clear? And finally, let's talk about the return statement. A function can return the values using the return keyword. We already seen this example. So these functions can return the values using this return keyword. The add function here, I have given the function name as add. This function returns the sum of a and b, and we store this particular result in a variable called result. And then I'm trying to put it. You can see we got it as 8. Clear? So alright folks, that's it for today's session. So we covered a lot today, from defining and the calling functions to handling the variable length arguments and using the return statement, right? So as I told, functions are incredibly powerful and will make your coding much easier, right? And if you have any doubts, you can reach out to me in social media, or you can comment in the comment section. And if you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel for more such awesome content. And thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.